I will show you how this day here, the equinox, and this day here, March the 21st and September the 21st, are very, very precious days. It is the only 2 days in the year where there is perfect balance of light and darkness. And this is a very, very important thing to remember, balance. Because when the sun does that, then commences the imbalance. In other words, from this point onward, the sun is increasing its light, and the nights get shorter and the days are longer, all the way to this point. And then from this point, the sun must wane, just like the moon does. New moon, full moon. Dead sun, live sun. They do the same thing. So this beautiful point of balance here has always been recognised to be the start of the year, the true start of the year. This is when everything ignites, the blossom. In fact, on the 25th of March, you have Gabriel coming down to Mary saying, guess what? You're pregnant. Impregnation happens here. That's why it's the blossom. The sun, the Christ, impregnates the moon in Virgo, opposite. The full moon is always opposite. You see, this is some real good metaphysics here, guys. This comes straight out of the Bible. It's full of it. When the sun finally breaks the equilibrium and goes into that sign, the Lamb of God that takes away the sin of the world, the winter, when it does that, the moon in its fullness on Nisan 14, the day that the Jehovah's Witnesses go to celebrate the commemoration of the Christ, as the Jews do, they go off to celebrate Passover. So the sun's passed over from the winter months. They wait for the first full moon, which has to be in the Virgin, because you see, once upon a time, the Virgin took this and this spot. There were no scales. This was all of the Virgin. So when the full moon is over here, the full moon is in the Virgin. Nisan 14, the sun is here, the moon is in the Virgin. The son is born of the Virgin, conceived on the 25th of March, you see. So what we see is the sun is doing this, the orgasm, the yearly orgasm. The flower is the blossom. And here the Romans celebrated on April the 19th, flora. And the Japanese celebrate sakura, the blossom. And then the fruits, the harvest, preserve the fruit, survive the winter, bang, the Lamb of God returns to save the world with its blood. Because when the sun goes through that 30 days of Aries, the blood, it kills the lamb, just as Hercules kills the lion and Samson when they go through Leo. And by the way, you only do this on 2 days of the year, the 21st of March and the 21st of September, where you lock in tightly this science. The sun will always rise at 6 a.m. on that day and set at 6 p.m. And that's the only day that it happens, right? At the equator. It's the only day. These days are precious. If you only understood how precious they are, that in that day we go through a stargate of equilibrium, and we should honour and respect those days. Because what happens fractally in your body is everything harmonises, and everything harmonises on that beautiful day of balance. It's a precious day, and we've forgotten these days. In church they call it Easter and they celebrate it, in disguise. It's for some other person, it's not the sun, it's for a man that came and died physically, right? So they've pulled us away from this true science. But when you start to see these days and these cycles, unity consciousness. Unity consciousness. You see the unity of all things. When you see the cycles of nature where they're hiding. It's easy to see them with these simple graphs. That's why they gave us this science. And we look at it and we go, oh, shit, what does that mean? Oh God, it looks devilish. Oh, look at these animals, they're scary. And off we go, we run the other way. That's how we've been trained.